Welcome to Teachers in Real Estate podcast with your host, Jackie Durbin. I have built a six-figure income from using what I learned from being a teacher. Teachers make great agents, but guys, it isn't all sunshine and rainbows. Some people are cutthroat. Some clients will make you want to throw in the towel, but your years in education have built you for a career in real estate, and I am here to help. With the right mindset and the right tribe, you can experience the same success. You can either supplement your income as a part-time agent or go full-time into real estate. The tools that I will share will help you gain the confidence and expertise to reach your goals. Whatever your goals are, let's enjoy this time together. This podcast is geared for teachers who are looking to get their start in real estate and teachers who are already rocking the dual careers. If that's you, grab your notebook, your pencil, and buckle up. We are about to begin Teachers in Real Estate. Well, hello. If you are a first-time listener, I want to welcome you and introduce you to myself. My name is Jackie Durbin. And yes, as I say in the intro, I was a teacher for nearly 20 years, left education in 2021 to pursue full-time real estate with my husband. And while I do have days that I miss those students and I miss watching light bulbs go off in their head and them finding the passion and the joy in learning new things, I really like my paycheck as a real estate agent. So we're going to talk about how teachers make great real estate agents. And as always, I'm going to supplement and kind of make parallels between education and real estate. So if you are a licensed real estate agent and a former teacher, you probably heard the exact same thing that I heard over and over again. Teachers make great real estate agents. In past episodes, we have dove in and talked about all the different things that really do make teachers amazing real estate agents. But at the end of the day, it's not just that you're a teacher. It's the skills that you have as a past or current educator that are really going to put you a level ahead, no matter the sales experience that you have. So today, we're going to talk about how lesson planning for real estate success. Now, I know that I say lesson planning and you may cringe a little bit, and guess what? That's okay. I know not everyone was like me. You're not the same on the DISC assessment. By the way, if you have not taken the DISC assessment, I would encourage you to do so. You can typically find the free version. And what it does is it really tells you a lot about your personality. It would probably be like, wow, that's why I do the things that I do. So basically, lesson planning, right? I remember I loved lesson planning. Lesson planning was my most favorite thing to do. If I could have just lesson planned for everyone, like in a district or at a school, I would have been happy as a lark. And the reason why is because I loved creating goals, right? So at the beginning of the year, which at the time of this taping, it is the beginning of a school year, teachers are looking kind of like at those common core standards. What are the expectations for my students at the end of a year, right? So if you're not a teacher and you're like, what in the world does this have to do with real estate? Listen up. I'm going to drop nuggets for people who are even not in the former education background. But basically, we get a list as teachers, right, of this is everything that a end of the year third grader, fourth grader, fifth grader, whatever grade is supposed to know. So how can you as an educator figure out how you're going to like get all this in, right? So the thing that I love to do is I would create kind of like backwards planning. Okay. So if I knew that this was a certain standard, right, that needed to be taught in a specific subject, I'm going to look at what does mastery look like and how will that scaffold from day one of introducing a topic to day whatever number it's going to be, where my students have mastered that concept and now they can apply it to everyday things. Backwards planning was probably my favorite thing. And if you are listening to this and you own or have been an owner of an Erin Condren lesson plan, just know that you are with like company. I love my Erin Condren planners. And even though I'm not in teaching and I'm in real estate now, guess what? I still buy a planner. I still use my planner to organize my real estate. So as teachers, we understand the importance of effective lesson planning to achieve those outcomes, right? So in this episode, I'm going to kind of draw the parallels between lesson planning and real estate business planning So, from setting clear goals, that's the first thing, right? And objectives has to be done. We're going to create marketing strategies that are going to provide actionable steps for newly licensed agents to kickstart their real estate careers, right? Does that sound good? Okay, let's do it with confidence and let's also do it with purpose. So, what do you got to do? Well, the first thing that you have to do before you can do anything is you have to know what your goals are. Okay. So if you are a paper pen person, you need to go ahead and write down this question. What is my realistic goal for my first year in real estate? Now, before you can come up with your your goal, right? Like I want to sell this many houses, or I want to sell this much volume, or I want to make this much money. You need to think to yourself some really practical things. Number one, are you still full time in the classroom? Okay. If you are still full time in the classroom, understand that you are not doing full time teaching and part time real estate. You are now having two full time jobs. Okay. So if I have this goal that I want to make X amount of money, I need to be able to divide that up in months, in quarters, probably quarters first, right? Then months. I need to also look at my teaching calendar, right? I know that number one, if I am in a school or in a grade level where there are finals, right? Or, if let's say that I'm at the end of elementary, end of middle, or end of high school, I know that I may be asked to write letters of recommendation for my students entering into those other areas of education. So maybe the end of the year is not the best time for me, right? So the first thing that I would do is I would get out a calendar, right? Or just get out a piece of paper, divide it into 12 parts, and look at each of those months and see what's going on in the world of teaching during those times. Okay. So, one of the things that I always did when I was teaching is I looked at when report cards went out because I knew that when report cards were getting ready to go out, I was going to be extremely busy. I was not the type of teacher, and I'm assuming if you like to listen to me, we're probably like minded, but I didn't like to just write random comments or anything like that. I was very specific in my comments. I wanted to make sure that I wrote intentional, whole comments, and some of them almost seemed like narratives for my parents. So that way they understood where their students were and what my goals were for them and what their own students' individual goals were for the rest of the year. Conferences, right? Preparing for conferences can be extremely overwhelming and it can also be very time consuming. When you create this calendar, what you're doing is in each of these boxes, you're figuring out what months you can be a two full-time employee type of person and what are the months that are not. Okay. If you are a parent, there may be times of the year that you're not super available for having two full-time jobs. Okay. My daughter, my youngest of my daughters, is graduating from high school this year. I know that May I'm going to be unavailable, okay, for pretty much all of May. We're going to be doing senior prom. We've got a senior baccalaureate mass. We've got a graduation. Right after graduation, we're taking the kids on a like a family vacation or whatever to celebrate. My oldest daughter this year is going to be graduating from college. So again, I know that May is going to be a month that I am not available. So when I think about my goals, I have to understand that during that quarter that May is involved in, right? So second quarter, I'm going to have a month where I'm not able to put 100% in both of my jobs. So when you're creating those goals and you're saying, okay, this is what I want to make, you can't just say, okay, each of the quarters I'm going to do this. Because realistically, we know that there's going to be certain things that come up. You also need to think about your market, right? When are most sales happening? Now, in Arizona, in our market, summer is actually not really a hot time to buy. Okay. Fall's a good time. Um, the beginning of a new year actually is pretty high just because January, everyone else in the world is like freezing cold and we are comfortable. It's sweater weather and we are just wearing our sweaters and our cute little boots and we really don't even need to turn on our heat at this point. Okay. So I need to know when is the busiest time, because let's say that if I'm in an area where May is the busiest time, and because of my schedule, I know that May I can't sell houses. You see where I'm going with this? When you're creating those goals, you have to make sure that they're smart goals. Be specific. Don't just say, I want to be successful or I want to do whatever. You have to be 100% specific. Your goal has to be measurable. Okay. So that's why you can't just say, I want to do this or I want to do that. How many specific houses do you want to sell each month or each quarter? Right. Then you have to look, is it obtainable? If it's not attainable, why do you want to set yourself up for failure? You have to make sure that it's relevant. Okay. If you are going to be doing two careers, guys, you have to be passionate about it, right? None of us went into teaching because we were like, I just want to make bulletin boards and cute things and get, candy and Christmas mugs. Like, no, that's not why we went in it. It was relevant for us to be a teacher because one, either maybe we were motivated by a past educator and we were inspired to be like them. I know that's why I became a teacher. Maybe, I don't know, like you wanted to be a teacher, right? It was relevant. So your goal has to be relevant because if it's not, you're going to be like, well, I didn't make it. Tough. Or, whatever. And you have to make it time bound. Okay. Now, please do not say, oh, I just got my real estate license. I'm going to sell two houses this very first month that I'm licensed. It's not going to happen. And if it does, you know what? Hats off to you. But it didn't happen for me. Okay. Truth be told, my first year when I became licensed, okay, so I got licensed back in 2018 in Kentucky, didn't sell a single house that first year. Okay. Moved to Arizona, got licensed in 2019. I had one listing and that was about it. Okay. Now, when I went full time into real estate, meaning I had no other things going on, right? I had the time. And guys, I'm a mom of four. Okay. So like my time is extremely valuable because I know that my kids are not going to be around for forever, right? They're going to grow up and they're going to move on. So I really cherish that time together. But when I became a full-time real estate agent, I sold 8 in the first 6 months. Now, it took me about 6 weeks to get those buyers and to get them in a position where they were ready to write an offer or they were in a position where they were ready to sell their home. But I had to make sure that I was doing it, one, for the right reasons, okay, and that I had my goal set. So, one of my initial SMART goals included things like I want to pay off my car. And I knew exactly how much it was. And I knew exactly how much commission I would need to make to be able to pay that off. I knew what my volume needed to be. And in 6 months, I was able to pay off my car. That was my goal. I met my goal. It was attainable. It was measurable. It was specific. Of course, it was relevant and it was time bound. Now, I said within the first year, I actually paid it off in 6 months. So I was really proud of myself. So guess what? I've just recently set a new goal. Okay. Within the next 12 months, I want to have $500,000 in gross commission income because I want us to be able to pay cash for a house up north because it's really hot in Arizona and Phoenix. But if you go drive up north about 2.5, 3 hours, it's very pleasant. And you get snow and you get pine trees and you get all of those things, right? Which who doesn't love those things? So when I created the other goal, I had to make sure that I was time bound. Now, this was the original goal, okay? 500,000 GCI. When I think about the amount of volume I am going to have to sell in order to get to that amount, I kind of have to ask myself, am I willing to give up certain things in order to reach that goal? I have no doubt that I can do it, okay? No doubt at all that I can make $500,000 in a 12-month period only in real estate. Okay. And that was honestly, that's a reality that I never had as a teacher. Like there was no way that I was going to make, $500,000 in a year as a teacher. Okay. And a lot of people say like, oh, you got into real estate for the wrong reasons. You got into it for money. No, I got into real estate because I saw that there were so many goals that I had for my children. I wanted to be able to pay for their college. I wanted to be able to, help them out when they needed help out. Okay. So like I've lots of kids. If their car needs brakes and they don't have the money for it, I want to be able to pay for their brakes. Okay. Those were things that I could have done as a teacher. I would just put it on my credit card. I wanted to be able to pay cash. I went through a divorce when I was in my mid 30s, and I was co-parenting with my ex, and it was really hard living on one income and having a home and having a car and having two daughters and having them being involved in activities and trying to manage grocery and budgets and all those different things. And I told myself, when I get to a position where I can do something different, I want to. And that's how real estate kind of came about. Now, when you're creating those goals, you actually have to create a business plan, right? So let's talk about creating that business plan. It is crafting a well structured lesson plan. Just as we design those lessons to engage the students, deliver valuable content, all of those things, right? A business plan is going to outline how you'll grow your real estate business. And notice I said grow, okay? If you're just getting started, selling enough houses to make $500,000 in commission in a year, I mean, I'm not going to say you can't do it, right? But it's a little bit harder. So, a lot of times in your lesson plan, just like you're scaffolding those lessons to reach that level of mastery on that content, you need to scaffold your growth in real estate business, okay, to reach your target. Okay, you want to make sure that you're reaching your target audience, that you're doing things that are appropriate, right? If you think back to like that first year as you're like teaching, you're like, I don't even know how to teach kids how to add. How the heck do I do this, right? So we're going back to like our old methods courses where we like learned how to like, I guess how well I remember thinking this. I don't know if you did, but I remember sitting in like my methods classes going, "Holy crap. If someone would have taught me this way, I could have been a damn brain surgeon." And then screw real estate. I wouldn't do it, right? But when we sit in our methods classes, we see how we can take a very complex topic or a complex skill, and we can break it down to where it's tiny little nuggets. And that's what you do when you're creating that business plan. Okay. So let's explore just a little key components of a lesson business plan. I'm going to talk about budget. I'm going to talk about marketing strategies. I'm going to talk about team building. But basically, in this podcast, I hope that you learn how to assess like your strengths, your weaknesses, so that way you can identify opportunities that are in the market. Now, remember, a well thought out business plan will help you to adapt to changing circumstances. Okay. It's going to help you stay ahead of the competition, because I'm going to tell you right now. Okay. Now I'm going to get a little preachy. My pastor always says this: comparison is the thief of joy. Guys, there are people who have been selling houses longer than you. There's there's a lot of people who've been selling houses longer than me. We do what we know how to do best. Okay. Being a wonderful, successful teacher who cares about her students, who delivers engaging content, who helps them to overcome obstacles. One of the prerequisites is not that you have a crap ton of experience in the classroom. It's that you have a passion for it. And if you have a passion for real estate and you create your business plan in this way, I promise that it is going to work out, okay? So let's talk about marketing strategy, right? You need to make sure that your marketing strategy, can't talk, good freaking grief. Make sure that when you're building your marketing strategy, there we go, that worked. Let's keep going with that sentence, that it aligns with your goals, okay? Also, that it aligns with your values. There are lots of people who market themselves in a lot of different ways. As teachers, we know the importance of tailoring our teaching methods, right, to cater to those diverse learning styles. So in real estate, similarly, you need to understand your target audience. You need to tailor your marketing efforts to reach them effectively. This is crucial. So let's think of the different audiences that you could have as potential clients, okay? I'm in Arizona. Many people choose to retire in Arizona. Okay. When they're checking out and just seeing if they like it or not, we call them snowbirds. They are men and women who come to Arizona in those winter months of where they are because they want to winter here. It's a milder winter. Typically, well, I don't even know that we've ever had snow in the East Valley. You can have snow, right? If you drive up north, it's like a 2 hour drive. You can be in the mountains and you can have snow. You can drive 2.5 hours south and be at the beach in Mexico, right? But you kind of get like the good stuff, right? So again, there's lots of people who are retiring in Arizona. So I need to think about my audience. What are the things that they enjoy? What are the activities that are important to them? What are their values? What would be maybe some of their reservations to moving out here? Okay. So let's think about that audience just for a minute. I know they're going to be probably in their mid to late 50s, 60s, right? Um, if they're moving and they have children, their children may not be moving with them. So, what's one of the things that's going to be a hang up? They're going to be far away from their family. Okay. What they may be moving away from their friends. How can I solve those problems? So, if I'm creating marketing strategies for people who are relocating to Arizona to retire, I need to highlight communities in my area and the type of events that they have at those communities that really do create a community. Okay. Maybe it's they have game nights, maybe they have bunkos, maybe they have bingos, maybe they have golf scrambles or golfing tournaments, maybe they have book clubs or whatever. I need to really get to know those age restricted gated communities so that way I can deliver the proper marketing to those individuals. Okay. Now, when I was in the classroom, my passion was teaching in Title I schools. Okay. I knew that God gave me the gift of teaching. Okay. I knew that He gave me a very compassionate heart for students who learn differently because guess what? I was one of those kids. Okay. I was not really reading until probably mid third grade. I always had issues with comprehension. I stuttered when I spoke public speaking, which I know you're like, what? You do a podcast? How in the world? Guess what? I had the right teachers in front of me that built my confidence and gave me the education that I needed. Okay. So the reason why I'm saying this is because another targeted audience that you can kind of say, hey, these are my people, are first time home buyers. First time home buyers are a great niche for people who have been in education. And here's why. Okay. If I'm a first time home buyer, that means I may not know anything. Okay. Or I may know a little bit, but I have some misconceptions, okay? I may be believing some myths. Guys, that's exactly what it's like teaching, right? The kids have already been in school, they already know how this is going, blah, 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 blah. It's our job as their teacher to teach them what this year is going to be like. This is what it's like being in my classroom. This is what my expertise is. This is what my expectations are. So first time home buyers, I need to be thinking again, what are their problems? What are their fears? What are their misconceptions? And how can I deliver content that's going to help them with that? Okay. So that's just another area that you can have. Maybe you want to be in luxury. Okay. I know a lot of agents that sell luxury homes. That's totally fine. It's not my niche. However, you need to think, okay, they are looking for a higher return of investment. Okay, they want to make sure that the different fixtures, products that are being used in the home are the top of the line. So you have a lot of learning to do in that one. Okay, it's no different than when I went from kindergarten to fifth grade. Yeah, I went from teaching kindergarten 1 year to teaching fifth grade. That was fun. I highly recommend it. I went from the babies of the school to the biggest kids who were mostly all taller than me because I'm like 5 foot nothing. Um, but I had to do some learning of my own to be able to give them the best education that they could in that year. Okay. So you really have to hone in your market. Everything is not going to work for everyone. Okay. Um, Investors, I don't work with investors typically. My husband does, but I don't. And the reason why is because I know I'm not going to deliver the best content to them. I'm not going to be able to help them in this purchase because I like people. I don't want you to be emotional, but I want you to have emotion. Okay. And a lot of time investors, they just look at a house and they're like, yep. Or they're like, nope. And that's it. Like there's no conversation about it. Okay. They ask a lot of questions. I have to do a lot of math and I just don't want to do that. Right. I did that for a long time. I had to make sure that all of my grammar, spelling, math equations, everything was right. Okay. It was a lot of pressure. All right. Um, but my point is, you can't just put out random stuff. Like, look at this beautiful home. You have to be providing value. That's how you get noticed in real estate. All right. So let's talk about various marketing channels. Where are you going to be able to put all this stuff? Well, guys, we are in the century of social media. Okay. Now, so many real estate agents do this wrong. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, I am not a real estate social media coach. Okay. But one of my good friends is, and I know a lot of stuff that they tell me, and they say the one thing that a lot of real estate agents do wrong is they try to just sell, 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 sell. Look at this house. Look at what I've sold. Look at what I've listed. Look what someone just bought. Look. Really? Come on. No more looking. Social media, the very first word in social media is social. You have to be social. So when you're posting things, you need to ask questions. You need to engage with the audience. You need to make sure that you are creating conversation. Also, email marketing. Email marketing is great. You can send out networking events. You can have like print media. You can send out videos are really cool, right? If you have a YouTube channel, that's great. So some of the insights that I would give you just from my own experience is mix it up. Okay. Mix it up, especially in the beginning, because you need to figure out what sticks and not just what sticks for you and what you're willing to continue to do, but what is something that you can continue to be consistent at. Email marketing was totally fine for me. Social media, one of the reasons why I think I don't get as many buyers and sellers from social media, and I know this sounds silly, right? But I'm not consistent enough with it. I jump around. Like I'm one of those like parents that like I love to just talk about my kids all the time on social media, and people are like, "Wait a minute, I thought you were a real estate agent." Now I'm thinking you're like a stay-at-home mom, okay? But you need to make sure that you're sharing success stories, right? From either your team, of agents or for yourself, right? You need to talk about people who are thriving with this market that we're in. Now, lastly, just as teachers continually assess and adjust their lesson plans, real estate agents need to evaluate their performance regularly as well. Okay. Now, recently we had three new agents join our team. They are some of them are newly licensed. There's one that was newly licensed. The other two have been licensed for a while, but they're really looking to increase their production, right? So one of the things that I asked them was what was working well, and a lot of the things that they were telling me sounded like they were just using the market to be able to help people buy and sell real estate, which is not a bad thing. Okay. That is not a bad thing at all. All right. However, it's not sustainable. Okay. Because our market changes all the time. So right now, our market is we have people who are selling their houses, but not a lot of people. And the reason why is because their interest rate's really good right now. Okay. And they don't want to go buy another house, even though they might have good equity in their house because they know that their payment might stay the same or it may go up or whatever reason, right? But a lot of people are not as many people are selling as they need to. Okay. Buyers. We still have people buying houses, but not as many as we did when rates were low because again, rates are not 2%. Okay. Don't even get me started on the whole rate debacle that everyone wants to discuss. Okay. Rates are still not high. They're just not as low as they were. And we got used to that for a while. Okay. Because it stuck around. Um, so I asked them, okay, I want you to do this. I want you to write down the last 10 transactions that you did. And I want you to tell me where did they come from? Where did you get that client? Okay. So they did that. And one of the agents, I would say probably more than half of her clients that she had closed transactions with came from referrals. And I'm like, okay, who were the referrals from? My friends, my family. I'm like, okay, then your email marketing is constantly going to your friends and family because they are a source that you can rely on. Okay. One of the other agents, a lot of hers were coming from open houses. Okay. And she's like, yeah, she's like, they were all coming from open houses. And I'm like, okay, awesome. How many open houses have you done, this past week? Oh, I didn't do any. Okay. Well, what about the week before that? Oh, I didn't do any. Okay. What about the week before that? Oh, I did two the week before, but I only had like a couple people that came. I just don't think open houses are working anymore. Guys, you can't see my face because this is a podcast and not a vlog, but like my eyes literally almost fell out of my face, okay? Because she just showed me her list. She knows that open houses work, okay? However, open houses don't have as much traffic as they used to, right? Because we have a smaller pool of buyers. But guess what? They're still there. They still work. And she looked at me and she said, I just don't think open houses are working anymore. I said, you know what? For about a year, I have been on this physical fitness journey. I've been eating better, making sure that I'm getting enough rest. I'm making sure that I'm exercising. I've eliminated certain things from my body, taking lots of supplements. I'm getting my blood work checked just to make sure that everything's in working order. But you know what? My six pack is still not here. And I've been doing it for a year. Should I be looking for my six pack because that's what's not there, right? Or should I be excited that I can now carry my 8-year-old son when he's tired from the car, and I can carry him in the house, put him into his bed, and my back doesn't hurt after I do it? And she's like, well, I guess that's cool. And I'm like, yeah. Because you know what? I may have not reached my goal, my full goal, but I have reached some of them. Guys, open houses are the number one best way to prospect. If you do not like to cold call, okay, and some of you may be listening going, what is cold calling? Cold calling is when you can reach out to your title company or someone and you are calling people unsolicited to get business. There are people who like to do that, okay? If you've ever seen that movie, The Boiler Room, that's the boiler room. I don't like to cold call, okay? It makes me anxious. I have to like pace and I need like walking shoes on, okay? Reaching out like other ways, right? So there's tons of different ways to prospect, but open houses are the probably most successful way to generate prospects and get leads that isn't costing you anything other than maybe like some water and snacks and stuff, but it's literally not costing you a dime. And it's going to take time. What if I would have on my fitness journey, I stopped in a month because you know what? I haven't gained any muscle tone. This is not working. I've been eating good food. I've been doing all of these things. What if I'd have just given up in a month because I'd have said, oh, this isn't working. Exercise clearly does not help you build muscle tone. I would have missed all of the gains that I've had now. This is a long-term game. You have to make sure. Remember, success in real estate is an ongoing journey. The skills you developed as a teacher, patience, empathy, adaptability, those are going to serve you in this industry as long as you don't give up. Okay? Now, guys, I know this was a long episode. I think this might be one of my longest episodes yet. Okay? But I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope you got a couple nuggets. I hope you were encouraged. I hope that something that I said really registered with you. But guys, do me a favor. Don't forget to like and share this podcast with others so that way other teachers can find us. Now, next time, I'm going to explore some more strategies, some more tips that are going to help excel your business in this real estate world. I want to thank you for listening. And remember, your journey to real estate success starts with a well-planned lesson. Guys, I can't wait to hear from you. So again, remember, you can always find me on Instagram at Jackie Durbin AZ. That's JACKIEDURBINAZ. Reach out with any questions about getting licensed, gaining business, taking your business to the next level. But I can't wait to see you next time on Teachers in Real Estate. Bye, guys.